Healthy Lifestyles workshop. My name is Judy Kessler. I'm part of the Healthy Lifestyles program. I'm program specialist. And today I would like to introduce Cindy Nelson. She will be presenting on the magic of tidying up. It is actually based off of a book. And Cindy Nelson is an extension associate professor and works in Beaver County in family and consumer sciences and 4-H. Her major area of expertise is health and wellness. She is certified Tai Chi instructor and teaches kickball to both youth and adults. Pickleball. She is also the director of the Utah 4-H Southern Region Investor Program and specializes in youth leadership. At this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Cindy. Thank you so much, Cindy.
Oh, thank you, Trudy. I appreciate it. And I'm just going to make a little plug right here. I just found out last Friday that I received a promotion to extension professor. So I can change that on my bio. So that's pretty exciting. All right. So I'm happy to be here. And just a little background on me. She gave a great introduction for me, but this subject I got interested in about 6 or 7 years ago, and I read the book by Marie Kondo on the life-changing magic of tidying up. And I thought, okay, I want to be more organized and I want to get my life in order. And I found out that it totally fits into the health and wellness realm, because when you have a life in order and you're not in a mess, basically, it can affect your health and wellness positively. And I read the book, and I have to admit I was a little skeptical, and I thought, I don't know if I believe everything that's in here. And to my surprise, it worked. I tried it, and I'm like, oh, I got to share this with other people. So that's kind of where this comes from. And now I'm trying to do my slide and it's not working. Okay, great. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Little technical difficulties here.
We can see your next slide, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this Marie Kondo is the happiness theory, and we know that really affects our health and wellness as well. So the focus of this book is really to eliminate clutter and find happiness. When we're able to surround ourselves with the things that bring us joy, we'll be more happy and more productive. And I'm going to guess that some of you have maybe a little bit of a cluttered or a messy office, because I think we all do. And so this can apply to your office or to your home. Originally, I presented some information about this for school teachers. And so they were concerned about their classrooms, which you can see would be a place where you would find a lot of mess too, because we all have a lot of stuff. But putting our houses or our offices in order can have that real positive effect. And so that's what we'll talk about now. I have to toggle back and forth on my screen, sorry. Hopefully we don't look like this, but we really do have too much stuff. And I think it's just the culture and the world that we live in right now. And it just equals unsuccessful lives or unproductive lives. So if we do have a corner or a space that looks like this, how do we figure out what to throw out? Because most of us already know we have too much stuff. We just don't know what to do about it. So have you ever wondered why you're not successful cleaning up? You've tried and you're like, oh, that's just not going to work. It's not working, or it only lasted for one day. It's basically because we have too much, and we don't know how to take care of it. So there's really 3 approaches to tidying up. The first one is to face it. Face it now and get it taken care of. Well, that'd be great if we were all motivated to do that, but Sometimes the second one, do it sometime because I don't have time right now to deal with it. Or sometimes we like to just avoid it altogether. But if we can get past that and take the healthy, assertive approach and do it now, then we can maybe reset our lives and restore some balance, which we're always looking for balance in our lives. At least I am, maybe not everybody else. I'm sure everybody else does. um, so really to tidy up effectively, we need to acquire the right mindset. And there's basically two reasons that we can't let go of objects. And when I read this was really enlightening for me. I thought, oh, you're right. There are two reasons. It's we either have an attachment to our past and we don't want to get rid of it because we'll be giving up something in our past, or we have a fear of the future. So I had a grandmother, who lived through the Depression and they saved everything because maybe we'll need it or maybe we won't have enough money. And and I thought that's really when we look at it, why can't I get rid of that coat? Oh, I might need it, or I'm attached to it because I bought it in Mexico. But I don't really wear it or use it. And so how do I get past that? That fear of the future or that attachment. And so really if we identify our goals and we find out what motivates us and we visualize the lifestyle we want. Well, I want a lifestyle where everything has a place and it's put in its place and it's not messy, everything is tidy. And I don't have too much stuff because actually that will give us more time because we're not worrying about it. So when we tidy, and this is the Marie Kondo, when we tidy, we have to touch each item to determine whether it brings us joy. And this is really the kind of the crux of what she says. This is the standard that we judge from. And it works on all kinds of items, not just one type. So really, we're going to talk about picking it up and finding out if it brings us joy. So when we can dramatically reduce the volume of things you own, then you'll reach what Marie Kondo calls the just right click point. And you'll discover what is right for you, and the amount that you own will never increase. Now, I know that sounds like a crazy promise, but I did this, like I say, 6 or 7 years ago in my closet with my clothes. And until about the last 6 months, I've been very successful at keeping just the same amount and keeping everything neat. Everything's still very neat, but I have accumulated a few more just in the last few months. But it really does work. And I really felt this. I felt like um, I don't even need any more things. I don't need them. And and I kind of started to become a minimalist, which I actually love. I'm like, yeah, I just don't need that. And so I don't have that desire to buy anything else or to get anything else, which is super cool because, like, for example, my sock drawer, and we'll talk about that in a minute, it looks the same as it did 6 years ago. There's nothing that has changed. And I haven't reorganized. I mean, I clean out occasionally, but I really haven't done anything. So it really does work. So to start out, um, we need to discard. So important thing to remember is to choose what to keep, not what to get rid of. Because sometimes we go through and we say, oh, I'm going to get rid of this. I don't like this. I'll get rid of this. But we need to instead say, I want to keep this. It's easy to get rid of items that we don't need anymore, that don't fit or aren't worn out, or that are worn out, or that, like with technology, they just don't work anymore. They're out of date and they're not any good. But how do we get rid of that stuff that's still good and that we kind of are attached to? There's a lot of theories out there. Oh, I can get rid of something if I haven't worn it for 3 months. Or every time I buy a new shirt, I will get rid of one. Well, that's just making the decision over and over and over again. And you see very little progress with that. And so you don't feel fulfilled at all with that. And they really don't work. Those are hard decisions. So what Marie Kondo says, when we get ready to start discarding, we're going to make it a party, a nice goodbye party. And we're going to discard things that no longer bring us joy. And we're going to send those objects off that have fulfilled their purposes. Sounds kind of fun. Sounds a little simple, right? But we need to know how to get started. So this is what she says. Do not tidy by location. How many of you have tools in 6 different places in your house or in your garage, right? Don't tidy by location, tidy by category. So if you have tools, you get all your tools together at once, and then you can decide what to keep and what to get rid of. So this is what I did with my clothes. I went to my closets and my drawers, and how many of you have more than one closet with your clothes in? Or more than one room with your clothes in? I took everything I owned and I threw it on the bed. And I made sure I had a huge garbage bag and sometimes categories. So like I put subcategories. So I put like all my shirts together or all my pants together, or all my socks together, that type of thing. Because sometimes that can make us feel overwhelmed. When I did this, I looked up the average number of shirts that people have, and the average number is 160. Is that a crazy number? And actually, I told you I presented this to teachers, and I had one teacher come up to me after the presentation, and she said that she has a different outfit for every day she goes to school. And I was so overwhelmed by that. I thought, oh, I don't know how you do that. In the first place, I don't know how you have enough money or where to store it. But I said, do you like all of those? And she's like, no. Or do you need them? And she said, no. So this is what we're talking about. So what I did was I threw all my clothes on the bed. I picked them up, I held them, and I said, does this bring me joy? And I knew immediately whether it did. If it did, I put it in the keep pile. If it didn't, I put it in the discard pile. And I didn't stop to think about, well, I just spent $40 on that and I've worn it 3 times. That's a waste. I've got to keep it and wear it, because that's where we get stuck. I just said, does this bring me joy? And if it didn't, it went. And this is, and yeah, I ended up with what I really needed. I was kind of concerned. I thought, what am I going to wear to work the next day if I don't, for 2 weeks? So I don't know what I'm going to wear. And it worked. It really worked. So her next suggestion is tidy in the right order. And are we going to start with those things that have sentimental value to us? No, because those are harder. We're going to start with the easy things. We're going to start with our socks. We're going to start with too many forks in the drawer. Start with the easy things, and then we gain confidence, and we're like, oh yeah, I can get rid of that. I can get rid of that. Sometimes it's really painful to get rid of things because we have to confront like our imperfections. When we talk about clothes, for example, a lot of people have that pair of skinny jeans in the back of their closet that they may never fit back into. And that's kind of addressing, well, I'm not the same size as I used to be. And that's an imperfection that can be hard. And also some of our foolish choices. Man, I loved it when I bought that shirt, and it's the ugliest shirt I've ever owned. And I didn't make a good choice. And so I'm not going to wear it. But that's okay. We can get past that, and we can let that go. Another caution she gives us, she said, don't let family members help you or watch you. They'll talk you into keeping things you don't really love. It's kind of like when you go shopping and you take someone with you. Sometimes they say, oh, that's so wonderful. And then you buy it and you're like, I didn't really want that. So they say, do it alone. And And don't put anything away until you finish discarding. So you've got 2 piles at the end. You've got a keep and a discard. Have that trash bag ready. Put it in the trash bag so you can't see it, so you're not second guessing. That's what I do all the time, is second guess. But once that happens, then you're going to put your stuff back in your closet or your drawers. The next one is and this is how we get past our guilt, because I had a lot of guilt. When tidying, we want this quiet space. She says no music. Noise makes it harder to hear and feel the internal dialogue between the owner and our belongings. And this is when I started thinking, I don't know if I'm buying into all of this. But then, like I say, I was surprised it seemed to work. Some items we have to think about, they fulfill their function when we buy them. They bring us joy when we buy them. That was fun. I loved it. But we don't really need to keep it anymore. And sometimes it's really hard to give away good clothes or good things that you have, especially if you spend all that money. But what you need to do is thank it for bringing you the joy that it did. Maybe, like I say, it brought you joy when you bought it or when you wore it those first 2 times. And then we don't need to feel guilty. We just need to show kind of some gratitude. And then we need to let it go and send it on to someone else, because someone else can use it and someone else can get that joy from it. It's not shameful and it's not wasteful. So I'm giving you permission. And sometimes we just need permission to say, oh yeah, I can get rid of that, even though that was really expensive. And I bought this really expensive blender that I've never used. It's just taking up space in my cabinet. Go ahead and get rid of it. Sometimes there's a little bit of a grieving process on there, just even though it's just things. But have gratitude for what they did, for the time that you had them. So the next thing is, and this is super important, is you need to find space for each item. Most people that discard their clothes end up with about 1/3 of their clothes left, which again was a little scary for me at first. I'm like, I don't know what I'll wear to work the next day. But it was so nice to not have to make that decision every day that I got up to get dressed. I only had things in my closet that I liked. I could wear whatever I wanted. It wasn't a big decision. And you only have to do this once to figure out where to put things. She says to learn to fold correctly. And she has a whole system on folding clothes that we're not going to take time to look at it today, but folding clothes saves space. If you'll notice on this slide, that bottom picture is a drawer. She says store things standing up or vertical. Don't stack them and put something on the bottom. One of her theories is those things on the bottom get squished and don't feel good.
Cindy, we're not seeing that slide of the clothes.
Oh, where it says find space for each item?
Yes.
Oh, so just to the right of that, there's a drawer. It's kind of hard to see that picture.
We're not seeing that particular slide. I'm sorry.
Not seeing a picture?
No, we're still on tidy by category.
Oh my goodness, what happened? Okay, well, let me try something again. Oh, well, it hasn't been. Okay, are you back to tidy by category?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why, because it's telling me tidy in the right order. I had 2 or 3 slides that we were supposed to have been looking at. Change no? Oh man.
It's okay. You can keep presenting and we can always send the slides out after to everyone.
But they're so cute with all their messy stuff on it. Oh. Yeah. Do you think I should try to?
We can always send the slides out to everyone. If you want to go ahead and keep presenting, we can send the slides out afterwards to everyone.
Okay, well, I apologize for that. I didn't change anything, so I'm not really sure what happened there. Anyway, so fold things and stack them vertically. So when you look into your drawer, you can see each of your pants or your shirt or your sock. So they stand up and you stack them vertically. That way you can see everything in your drawer and something doesn't get lost. And then you can make choices and because sometimes when we put them on the bottom, we forget and then we don't ever use them or we don't ever wear them. I even packed my suitcase like this now where things are folded and standing up. And it's so much nicer to be able to see them. She suggests that coats, suits, jackets, dresses, they're actually better hung. And you should put everything in a category next to each other, all the pants together, all the shirts together, all the dresses together, all the suits together. One thing that I did not follow that she says, don't ball up your socks. Don't fold your socks together. You're supposed to roll them up like a sushi roll and stand them up. I couldn't make them fit in my drawer right, so I haven't been able to do that, but I do stand them up so that I can see them all. So that is nice, but I couldn't get them to sushi roll quite right. So that's a little crazy, but let me see if I can. My slides are moving, but yours aren't, so I'm so sorry. I will send them. The next thing is books. Books are tough. She says, take all your books off the shelf, put them in a pile. Don't read them, just touch them. Remember that the purpose of the book is to give you an experience. And most people don't read a book more than once. Think about it. How many times you read a book more than once? And this is one of those where you want to show your gratitude and you want to say, hey, I read this and I loved it. Now let someone else read it and let someone else enjoy that experience. If you haven't read it, you're probably not going to. And you should just let it go. And you probably don't need it. Papers. This is the biggest one, I think. How do you manage your papers? Are they scattered all over? Are they in great big stacks on your desk, at home, on the counter, where your papers shouldn't be? Mine are. And the simple answer is throw them out. Just get rid of them. Of course, because they're never going to inspire joy. Unfortunately, that's not really realistic. Some papers have to be kept. But you should dispose of them if they fit into one of these categories. You should not dispose of them if they fit in these categories. Sorry. If they're currently in use, you're going to keep them. If they're needed for a limited time or if they have to be kept indefinitely, you've got to keep those papers. And then you have some that are sentimental. This doesn't include like old love letters or journals or anything like that. But you should keep them all in one spot and you shouldn't really have an elaborate system. It's either a keep or a discard, a keep or a discard. Handle them once. A lot of times when we get the mail, we take it home and we pull out that letter or that ad and we read it and we sit it on the counter. What we should do is pull out that letter or the ad, read it. Do we need it? Are we going to keep it? If not, it goes directly in the trash. We only need to touch it once. Warranties, she says keep warranties just in a big pile. Just throw all the warranties in a pile. Manuals, she says throw them away. You'll never need them. You can always Google it. You can find everything online with things that have gone digital. I thought, oh, I have a whole drawer of manuals that need to go. So that might be a hard one. So wish you could see my slide. This one, sentimental items, things that mean something to us or to someone else. These are really the hardest to discard. Handling them, picking them up, holding them will help us process the past and move on with our lives. There's not much joy in living in the past. We need to live for today. And remember, she's all about joy and happiness. So keep those things that still bring you joy. But if you inherited something from your grandmother that it's a connection to your grandmother, but it doesn't bring you joy, then maybe it's time to get rid of those. But these are hard decisions. She has a couple of cautions, and if I could see and you could raise your hands, this would be interesting. But how many of you store things at your parents' house? She says, don't do that. And don't keep gifts from children or family members just because they gave them to you. If you can't use them and they don't bring you joy, then she says discard them. And remember, they brought joy when you or someone else bought them or received them. But if they no longer spark joy, they fulfilled their purpose. Everything has a purpose, so they may be done. Just kind of in conclusion, those are kind of the steps that she's giving you to go through. And I do have a couple of handouts that I can send that you can forward on that will give you some ideas about the right order and how to go through that process. But messy room, messy mind. In order for us to improve our health, we want to have a clean space so that we can think clearly and move forward. And the best way to find out what we really need is to get rid of what we don't. Stop making those decisions. Let's get rid of stuff that we really don't need. So really the magic here in relation to our health and wellness is that we'll have a clearer mind. We'll find greater happiness, brighter eyes, because we're not always drawn to that big pile in the corner or that huge stack in the garage or that pile of papers in the office that's never going to help us out that we used 20 years ago. Brighter eyes will actually become more content. And I kind of mentioned this before. Once I got rid of things, I didn't really need anything else. And I started to become quite content with what I had and grateful for what it was. And my worldly desires decreased a little bit, which was really great. I really love that. So just my last thought for you is one big takeaway is just do it now. Start. If you want to read the book, it kind of gives you some inspiration to get started, and it helps you on your way. So really just start. It doesn't have to be all in one day. It's not going to happen all in one day, obviously. But I can really attest that it's going to last for a while. Like I say, my drawers in my closet look almost exactly the same as they did 6 or 7 years ago. And I've not done any big clean out, any big throwaway since then. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm like almost right on the dot. I don't know if you have questions or if you can stay more. And I apologize about the slides, not sure what happened there, but we can get those to you.
I do. First of all, thank you so much, Cindy, for presenting. I loved everything you said, and to get started today, because that's the hardest part, is just starting. I also loved that you talked a little bit about gratitude for the objects that you are getting rid of. To take that few moments, we're always talking about gratitude and taking that time to just be thankful for them, that they've served their purpose, but they might bring someone else more joy. So it's always good to let those things that are no longer bringing you joy go, and definitely help to bring you contentment in your lives. So thank you so much. I will send out the slides and the handouts that Cindy has to everyone that participated today. Those will be out later this afternoon. I do have one question in the chat. If anybody else has any questions, we can stay on for a few more minutes. But for those of you that need to leave, just a reminder that you can check off your participation in the workshop today in Well Steps. So make sure you do that at the end of the month or this week. Lots of thank yous coming through for Cindy. One question, do you have any tips for having a quiet, dedicated space to let go of things when you have small children that are not quiet and are curious about getting into such big piles of interesting things?
Yeah, that's a great question and a concern when you've got younger children around. I don't have any great answers. Do it after they go to bed, or when someone, go in your bedroom and shut the door and let someone else watch the kids, because they're just going to play with it, and you're not going to be able to feel that sense of joy with those items that you pick up. And it's tempting maybe to let them. If I have a big pile of clothes I'm discarding, I'll let them play in it. But if they start playing it, you'll see them again and you'll have to make that decision all over again. So it's better to put them like in a great big trash bag and just close it up and not look. So I don't know if that answered your question, but give you a little bit of ideas about maybe what you can do.
I think that's wonderful advice. That's definitely helpful. If we don't have any other questions, there's still a lot of thank yous. Some people have already started, and
Yay!
so thankful to know that they're on the right track. So thank you again so much, Cindy, for taking the time to join us today and to present. I know I've learned quite a lot and am anxious to. I have started, but I found that some of it I wasn't doing right. So I think this will be so much more helpful to follow this, and excited to see your notes as well. So thank you again for joining.
Yeah, I've been this. Yes, thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And as a reminder, while you're cleaning, you can count your steps for March into May, since that is what we are currently doing. We do have a spring cleaning on the conversion chart. So while you're doing this, it can count for multiple things. And join us tomorrow for our Well Steps Wednesday, if you can. And thank you again. Have a wonderful, and tonight we are doing a walk at Dimpledale. So if you want to join us for the walk at 6 o'clock at Dimpledale, reach out to us if you haven't already received the information. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again.